Vastu, Shastu, Feng Shui, Wang Shui. In the last decade, there's been a lot of hype around these ancient practices. So much so that many people today will not even buy a home unless it's Vastu approved. But even if you don't believe in all of this, you can still pick up a vibe, a good vibe or a bad vibe in different homes. What creates it? Today, we're going to look at how your home affects your well-being, and we'll take it further. Can your home actually have an impact on your health, happiness, financial prosperity? Some people believe it can. Rakesh Chawla is a Vastu and Earth energy expert. He's been writing, researching and consulting on this subject for the last 12 years. A lot of his clients are individuals as well as large corporations who want to know how their living spaces and working spaces can be enhanced for their well-being and prosperity. I know it's a huge subject and it's an ancient subject, but can you distill for us some of the fundamentals of Vastu or Feng Shui?
You see, fundamentally, these are subjects which are aligning man with nature. A. So we are dealing with the 4 principal directions and the 5 universal elements. Now, Vastu essentially is a subject that aligns, your structure, wherein you get the maximum of these 5 universal elements inside the structure. And when you have them, you have a good energy inside your living space, which is what gives you a feel-good factor. Feng Shui does the same. They deal with the same elements, but they have changed the name of 2 of the elements, and they have their own cycles of these elements.
Why is it so important to incorporate natural elements into your home? Because you said that is one of the fundamentals of Vastu.
You see, because A, we get the maximum benefits, or let's say the prime energy from nature. So we cannot de-link ourselves with nature. If we cut off ourselves, if we sit in a room where there is no natural light coming, the feeling of depression just sets in. If it is on a continuous basis, then this depression which sets in can lead to sickness. Now, Vastu is also a lot of common sense. Vastu is no nuclear science that any layman cannot understand. It is something which is very, very basic, but something very basic like cleaning the clutter, letting more light in, having better ventilation, having a nice pleasing sound in the background, right? Having a nice incense, lighting a nice incense. They give you that feel-good factor.
Nurture all your senses.
Exactly, you are nurturing your 5 senses.
According to Vastu, the 4 principal directions, north, south, east and west, can play a significant role in creating a harmonious home. So too, incorporating the 5 elements of water, fire, earth, air and space can help create a Vastu-friendly environment. Although a lot of Vastu recommendations are technical, such as which direction your home should face, a lot of it is just good sense. Like keeping orderly spaces, lots of natural light, basically nurture your senses. If your senses get a lift in your home through good light, good sounds, natural harmony, then it's good Vastu. What do our living spaces say about us?
The energies which the house is oozing with or emanating would be the energy in which the occupant is living, right? If you are living in an area of negative energy created by either low light, clutter, etc., there could be hundreds of reasons. You cannot be a very positive person. You just cannot be yourself.
Tell me, in terms of a home, are certain areas of the home directly connected to certain areas of your life? For instance, is there a connection between the kitchen and prosperity and the bedroom and relationships and the living room and your career? ऐसा कुछ है?
ऐसा तो बहुत कुछ है.
मोटा.
They actually do. Now, if you divide your house into 4 quadrants, right? The northeast quadrant houses water, which relates to finances. So should there be a financial issue in any house or in any organization, that's the area they must look at. Southeast quadrant of the house, or the southeast quadrant, is the house of fire. Fire relates to the health, the well-being of a person. So if there is perpetual sickness in the house, you must check what is in the southeast of the house and your bedroom.
And so bring light and bring
Bring
natural
light, clean the clutter, fresh air, maybe remove an old cooler which is there, not working. Southwest houses the element of earth. This gives stability in profession, in one's existence in life. Now, if you feel restless all the time or if you feel insecure, now that's the quadrant to look into. Be it your home, be it your office. Too many problems, labor problems, more often than not, the labor union head is sitting in the southwest of the premises. Shift his office and you will see how the problems disappear. In your house, if children are very adamant, very arrogant, not listening to parents, more often than not, their bedrooms are in the southwest. You know the answer. Likewise, northwest is the quadrant of air, which deals with relationships. And the center of the house is space. Okay? This is the very fine and the most subtle element is the center. And if the space or the center is cluttered, communication in the house will be pretty low, it will be blocked. So that is what you need to declutter then or clear up.
As we go into the break, take a moment to close your eyes and think about what kind of feeling does your home generate in you. When you think of walking in the front door, what adjective instantly comes to mind? Harmonious, aesthetic, messy, sterile, crowded. After the break, we look at what we can do specifically right now to let the good energies begin to flow in. Exploring what we can draw from ancient practices like Vastu. Experts say it's ideal if we incorporate many of these principles when we are building a home. That's not possible for many of us. There is one thing, however, that we can do to begin to unleash the most basic principle of Vastu. One of the arguments that I'd have with Vastu is that a lot of the application is possible only if you're building a new home. But for many of us, that's not a possibility. We already have homes. What are some fundamentals that can begin to make a difference in our living spaces using these principles?
You see, you very rightly said that strictly if you follow the book, it's easier to follow if you are starting construction from scratch. But at the same time, one forgets that there is also corrective Vastu. You see, clutter is one big thing, which clogs energy. So if you have an existing structure, irrespective whether it is Vastu or Feng Shui friendly, if there is clutter, there is bound to be blocked energy and there is bound to be a disruption in some sphere of your life. It can be professional, it can be health, it can be relationships, it could affect any area of your life. So clutter is a basic thing that we emphasize on, that one should get rid of the clutter, not only at the visual level. So it is not clutter which is seen like maybe a trash can or a dump yard which is there across the house or something. But we talk of clutter in terms of what is there in your cupboards, what is there in your drawers, And when we come down to finer levels, we ask what is there in your handbags or in your wallets.
Don't look at my handbag because it is extremely cluttered at the
You
moment.
see, and you will be surprised that there is clutter all the way.
How does clutter block energy? Help me understand this.
You see, if you tighten your fist, okay, now what happens? One feels that there is a lot of power or strength in it. But what can we do with this? We can do nothing with this fist except for either punch someone or punch ourselves. But when we let go, you get a feeling of free-flowing energy. Now, clutter essentially is what? It is just blocked emotions. It's like, if there is one part of the body where there is no blood circulation, there is a blockage of energy, what happens? Pain sets in. You see, the weirdest that I found was someone who had a collection of newspapers which goes back to maybe 20 years.
So why was he holding on to this?
He was just holding on to it because he said, I might use some news sometime or the other. And likewise, I have seen that in many industries, there is a lot of junk around. Whether it is broken pieces of glasses, whether it is rusted, iron pieces, iron fillings.
And all of these
pipes.
have an effect on our wellness?
Because clutter is what? When
I can understand that it's visually unappealing, but you seem to be saying that it actually affects how we feel internally.
Exactly.
Why do people have so much difficulty letting go of things?
Because they feel secure emotionally when they hang on to things. Whether they are hanging on to relationships, whether they are hanging on to bits of newspapers or old books, old toys. There's a lot of girls who have these stuffed toys with them, and they are now marriageable age, but they would not let go of their teddies.
So that's an interesting step, because it's easy to do, which is start clearing your clutter and you begin to already free up energies in your home. Actually, and this is how I got interested in this whole area, is that I know nothing about Vastu and Feng Shui except what we read in the media, but I remember clearing up an area of very old clutter in my home, and it was almost spooky how within a week my professional life just exploded. And I said, this is spooky. I've not done anything different apart from clearing this little space up. And so is there something here that happened, or am I just imagining this?
You've had, first-hand experience of what removing clutter can do. And I'm sure everyone will have similar experience, if not exactly the same, but similar experience in some area of their life. If they let go of the clutter in their houses or at their workplaces, it is definitely that they are bound to benefit from it.
Even small changes can make a huge difference.
Cleaning the clutter can make a huge difference.
A build-up of clutter in your home can leave you with a continuing dull feeling of heaviness without your quite realizing why. And certain things are especially antithetical to good Vastu, like old chipped glass, broken mirrors, old dusty curios. These are all dead energies. But where to begin cleaning up, especially if there are mountains of clutter? One way is to simply start clearing out 10 things a day. This will take 5 minutes, and almost immediately blocked energy will begin to clear up. During the break, mentally scan your home. Go through each room in your mind's eye and see where there's clutter build up. This weekend, try clearing some of that clutter and see if some other area of your life mysteriously begins to unblock. We're talking about how our living spaces affect us. Just as in good nutrition, even a few changes in diet